Get you in frame and in focus. All right, some people talked about this last week, but a lot of people kind of skipped over this or covered it very, very gently because of the implications. Ian Walker, Soy Boy, is triggered by Yuri's comments about cultural Marxism. Yuri actually said these things. The video is out there. It's on YouTube still, I think. He gives his opinion on how they are going to destroy America. It's not a conspiracy theory when his prediction actually came to pass. It's the truth. Tradition and unity are better than progress and diversity. Yes, that is true. Diverse nations like Brazil are hell on earth. Europe, before diversity, was pretty close to paradise. Low crime, low struggle snuggles. Now, because of diversity, there are cities in Sweden that lead the way in violence against women and children. That shows how powerful cultural Bolshevikism is. They can get women to accept sexual violence against children. That's how you know you're brainwashed. All this ties into Antifa and BLM because they're not Antifa, they are communists. Their goal is globalism. The short-term side effects of it are really crappy movies, video games, and comics. Now, after all these riots, the woke levels in films are going to be off the charts. They know how powerful films are because their primary goal isn't money, it's propaganda. They got rid of religion, but replaced it with the ideology of Marxism. Apparently, people need a belief system. They need something greater than themselves to focus on. It's a level of insanity that people who live in America would look at Russia and think, yeah, we need to be like Russia. But these people grew up on CNN and mainstream media. They never took the red pill. Everything you see on TV is a lie. It's somebody's narrative. Doesn't it seem odd that CNN and MSNBC and 99% of the media all have exactly the same agenda? Doesn't that make you start thinking? Literal pedophiles run Hollywood. Guys like Weinstein are the people controlling the media. They're in your home controlling what is on your screen. Think of all the damage Hollywood has done over the years. Think back to what you grew up watching. Once you take the red pill, you'll look at these films in an entirely different light. Once you start seeing the propaganda, you can never unsee it. Actually, now is the best time in history to expose the propaganda of the mainstream media because we have alt media. The mainstream media machine is losing control. There's a huge crowd of people under, 50 that are watching alt media for their news. Every minute on DLive instead of YouTube is a minute that CNN is losing out on brainwashing. That's why the SPLC and ADL is desperate to get control of the alt media. They are terrified of free expression. It has taken them a few years to gain control of the media, but now that their control is almost complete, people have created alternatives. I think the media is in trouble. Eventually someone is going to come up with a alt Netflix site for non-Bolshevik movies. Maybe, I don't know. Their control on Hollywood is insanely strong. And if you tried to start your own network, they would pressure the banks not to do business with you, because once they lose control of the media and people learn that the media has been lying to them, they start to wonder, what else have they been lied about? The victor writes the history books, and the good guys always win. What if Yuri was right? Let me put this out there. Why don't Japan and Israel open their borders to diversity? If diversity was really our strength, then where is an example of that being true? Brazil is the most diverse nation on earth. Think about Sweden pre- and post-cultural enrichment. Where would you rather live? These people are terrified when you shine a light on them and call out cultural Marxism. But thanks to social media, we can start giving them a little feedback, even when they turn off comments. That's why diversity in comics pissed them off so much. He was criticizing people who assumed that they were never going to get negative feedback. They thought that they were safely in an echo chamber. DNC put a spotlight on them and drew people's attention to how bad the SJW infestation has gotten. Comics people are basically Antifa but 20 years older. They were the last picked for every team, the weird kid who mumbled under his breath, future school shooter material. They're the kids who frame their participation ribbons. The left is so confident in their ideas that they have to deplatform people who have a rebuttal to their bullshit. At least the chickens are coming home to roost. They went to Ted Wheeler's apartment and lit a fire in the lobby, a building that was full of people. Some of the Antifa kids were saying, "Whoa, comrades, there are like 100 people that are going to burn to death?" I'm sure Ted Wheeler's neighbors love him. It's just a street fair, bro. It's a peaceful protest. Like, we're like fighting the fash, rage against the machine. Except Antifa BLM is the machine. They're supported by CNN and every public corporation. That's not a grassroots revolution. That's a corporate oligarchy. Corporations gave billions, with a B, to BLM. Where did that money go? Did they build schools, fund scholarships or remedial programs for kids? No, they paid grifters millions to administer the money. All they did was hire their friends for inflated salaries. It's a trickle-down theory where nothing actually trickles down. Bank of America is not giving $1 billion because they care about black lives. They don't give two shits. If a black family moved into their gated community, they would crap themselves. How crooked are these people? The politicians are buying city property because people are fleeing New York. But de Blasio knows that that is temporary, so he's buying up land that is cheaper because of his mismanagement. We don't live in a nation. We live in a commercial zone controlled by globalists. We are nothing more than cattle to be slaughtered at their pleasure. How did Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi become multimillionaires who live in mansions while their city has tent cities? Doesn't it seem a bit odd that their spouses trade on insider information to make millions and the FBI does nothing? They spent a year investigating Trump for nothing, but Pelosi and Maxine Waters are not even looked at? Biden's poll numbers came in. He is in deep cack. A month ago, he was leading. He peaked. But a month of riots has him dead even with Trump. Now, that's not important. What is that Biden is dropping like a rock. He has done 5 public appearances. In the same time period, Trump did 150. Biden does any speech, every time Biden does any speech that is not him just reading off a teleprompter, it is crystal clear that his brain is pudding. He cannot possibly attend 3 debates. Even with an earpiece feeding him lines, he would go off script and get confused. I assume Biden will insist on a video debate so his team can just write his lines for him. But even that, he will manage to screw up. Anyway, let's fluff out this video to 10 minutes by looking at this article that has hose mad. It is kind of the definition of that. All right, so this guy, Ian Walker, soy boy, is triggered. They do not like it when you call them out. Far-right cry, conspiracy theories. Well, if it's conspiracy theory and far-right cry, then why can't we discuss it? If these ideas are so ridiculous, you wouldn't try to deplatform people. This guy is off the deep end. Here's the thing. How do you know the media is crooked? When they call right-of-center groups far-right groups, extremist groups, and then what do they say about left-wing groups? Absolutely nothing. They just call them left-wing groups. Or they don't even call them left-wing groups. They just call the groups, but all right groups are far-right groups. Okay. It deals with a decades-long struggle. Yuri's warnings. His appearance in the games. Cultural Marxism, far-right conspiracy theory. Is it really a far-right conspiracy theory? Or is all these things he predicted come to pass? It's a modern spin on the notion of cultural Bolshevism, which was a tactic used by the early German party in Germany to discredit supposed dissidents, usually among the Jewish population, as was its wont, as dangerous to so-called traditional values. Where is the lie? In this way, diversity and societal growth away from prejudice were treated as even when you craft your argument, you're being disingenuous. Diversity away from prejudice were treated as divisive. Yes, that's what diversity means. It means to divide. There's no cultural enrichment. What does a third world country have to teach Sweden or Germany? Nothing. They're acting. Better not say that. They're taking and not contributing. What has a third world country developed? Sweden and Germany have no interest in them. If this was organic and real, South Korea, Japan, Israel, the whole Middle East would gladly open their borders. Why are they not doing that? Because it's a detriment and not a benefit. There is no cultural enrichment. There's no strength in diversity. It's weakness. Someone was saying on Twitter that it would have been better for Sweden to be suffering an atomic bomb, because you can recover from that. You cannot recover from, I can't say some words. You cannot recover from a population substitution. That's forever. That's genocide. And they call everybody white, that word, the opposite of globalist. Even they're starting to call this thing groups that are mixed race, like Patriot Prayer is mixed race. It's led by an Italian or Mexican or something. They're calling them like mostly white supremacy groups or something like that. And you look at the group and there's a black guy over here and a Mexican over here and an Italian and an Irishman. They're like, whatever. There's all this mixed race group. And they go, oh, you're upholding white supremacy. Tariq Nasheed just posted a tweet where some very, very Mexican cop shoots a black guy who had a gun or punched him or something. And the guy is clearly Mexican. And so Tariq calls him a white Hispanic. Okay, Tariq. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to put this on Bitchute because I don't think YouTube is down with this. But I know I'm not long for YouTube anyway. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're on Bitchute, because it is a real bitch getting subs on there. I want to thank you for the recent subs, though. The Bitchute channel has grown very well lately. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next episode.